So what's new and exciting in Spain in 2025? We've got new high-speed rail routes, epic gastronomy festivals, fresh rural escapes for those who want to get back to nature, and a city that is celebrating 1,200 years of history. Yep, this year Spain has it all.
But is 2025 the year Spain declares war on Airbnb and rolls out tourist taxes? One thing is certain, new major entry requirements for tourists to Spain and Europe are coming, and you need to know about them.
Hey, I'm James.
And I'm Yoli, and if you're coming to Spain soon, grab a pen and paper and get ready to take notes. Can you guess which Spanish monument has just been rated the most loved by tourists and that you totally need to add to your 2025 itinerary? Is it the Alhambra? The Sagrada Familia perhaps? Nope. According to a recent study based on thousands of online reviews, this title goes to the Mosque Cathedral of Cordova, or the Mezquita Cathedral de Cordova. And I have to say, I agree 100%. The mosque was built in 785 and it was built on the site of a former Visigothic church. It features these incredible red striped arches that just stretch endlessly in a magical maze. And an impressive 86.3% of the visitors rated it 5 out of 5, making it the highest rated monument in Spain and in Europe. In the 16th century, after the Christian conquest, a cathedral was built inside, and even Emperor Charles V, who authorized the construction, famously regretted telling the architects, "You have built what you or others might have built anywhere, but you have destroyed something that was unique in the world." If you haven't visited, Cordova is one of Andalusia's most stunning cities, often overlooked compared to Seville or Granada. In fact, it's under an hour from Seville by train, meaning you can even make it a day trip.
Spain's tourism numbers are soaring, with over 90 million visitors last year. And in fact, the country is on track to be the most visited tourist destination by 2040, with 110 million visitors per year. But as many of you know, rising tourism has sparked a backlash. Last year, there were anti-tourism protests throughout the country, driven largely by rising housing costs. And now, local and national authorities here in Spain are starting to crack down. So cities like Madrid, Palma de Mallorca, and Malaga are severely restricting where vacation rentals can operate within the city limits. And remember, in 2029 is the year that Barcelona is going to be banning vacation rentals completely. But the problem remains that there are already so many illegal vacation rental apartments operating throughout the country. A recent study in Madrid suggested that 98% of the Airbnbs, etc. in Madrid don't have a license, even though many of those apartments are actually run by professional companies and not, families or mom and pops. So, what's to be done? The big news is that Spain is going to be launching a national online registry that it hopes will crack down on illegal tourist apartments. So, how's it going to work? Well, imagine you have an apartment that you want to list on Airbnb. Well, if you want to list it on Airbnb, you have to upload that apartment to this national online registry. Then you will be given from the registry a specific number. And then to list your apartment on Airbnb or Booking.com, you need that number. And in short, no number, no listing for you.
Nothing for you.
Effectively, what this could mean is all these unlicensed apartments are going to be removed from the platforms like Airbnb, and new ones won't be uploaded, effectively totally restricting or limiting the amount that are available, kind of like what's happened in New York. And in fact, this isn't just a Spain initiative. This is actually a European initiative that's going to be rolled out throughout all of Europe, and it has to be in place in Europe by 2026. Plus, the government is also looking to increase the sales tax that you have to charge on your Airbnb or Booking.com apartment to effectively raise the price. And this is to disincentivize landlords from listing on Airbnb and similar platforms and push their apartments onto more long-term rental for families and people who live here. Will it work? We'll see.
But wait, there is more. Across the country, new tourist taxes are being introduced to manage the growing number of visitors and their impact. In 2025, Tenerife is planning to introduce an eco-tax for tourists visiting protected natural areas such as the Masca Ravine or Mount Teide. Locals can go for free, but visitors will pay 28 euros. The revenue from this tax will go toward conservation efforts. Other regions are planning to introduce new taxes, while those with existing measures like Catalonia or the Balearic Islands are planning increases. For example, Galicia is planning to introduce a new tax charging between 1 to 2.50 euros per night per visitor, up to 5 nights. Individual towns can choose whether they will adopt this tax or not, and so far only Santiago de Compostela has confirmed it will. Also, Toledo is considering a tourist tax of €1 to €1.50 per day, aimed specifically at visitors that arrive on a bus tour and that are not planning to stay overnight.
So I'm getting more into the great outdoors. In fact, I recently hiked from Madrid all the way to Segovia following stages of the Camino de Santiago. So if getting into the great outdoors and hiking and all that kind of good stuff is your vibe, then you might be interested in hitting the Balearic Islands in 2025, because in Mallorca and Ibiza, there are new routes opening up. First of all, in Mallorca, the long-awaited East Mallorca Gran Recorrido del Levant will open. This is a route that goes 104 kilometers down the east coast of the island, from Cales de Mallorca to Cala Mesquida, passing through various towns and gorgeous countryside. And for those nature lovers with a more intermediate level, in Ibiza, there are 7 new shorter trails opening called Pequeños Recorridos. They range from 10 to 50 kilometers, and they're perfect if you're just starting out and you want to take a shorter walk, although 50 is a pretty good walk. Now, I did find it a little bit hard to find information about these routes, but if you are looking to do hiking in Spain, check out the app Wikiloc. It has user-generated routes all over the country. It operates in English as well, and it's fantastic if you want to find some places to go for some beautiful walks in this country. Meanwhile, the 4 regions of northern Spain, Cantabria, Basque Country, Galicia, and Asturias, are collaborating on what they're calling the Green Spain Ecotourism Corridor, which is effectively going to be, according to them, Europe's largest ecotourism route. Now, what does that mean? Again, details are a little bit sketchy, but effectively they're going to be collaborating to create lots of outdoor activities, bird watching, hiking, all these different ways you can explore. They've said UNESCO biospheres, so it's a perfect reason, I think, this year, if you haven't been to Green Spain, to northern Spain, to go and explore it. We made a couple of videos there last year, which really, I think, showed the incredible beauty. And if people only know southern Spain, for example, or Madrid, Barcelona, this is a whole different vibe. So I reckon definitely check it out in 2025.
From over-tourism to ecotourism to package tourism, let's head to Benidorm. This city, loved by some, loathed by others, has just been named European Green Pioneer of Smart Tourism 2025, recognizing its commitment to sustainable and innovative practices in tourism. A representative of the Benidorm Tourism Board said that this award will shut a lot of people up. And she added, it highlights our intelligent resource management in areas like water and mobility, and it acknowledges that our tourism model and compact city design with vertical urban planning is the most sustainable, despite being criticized for the opposite for so long. So what exactly is Benidorm doing? Now, the city has implemented a smart water management system that has reduced consumption by 30%. Also, there are now solar panels that are powering public spaces, public buildings, and hotels, and they're planting native species to improve the air quality in the city. Plus, they have an app that gives real-time updates on weather, beach conditions, and events to prevent overcrowding in the city. So maybe 2025 is the year for you to go to Benidorm and discover this hidden gem of Spain.
But enough sun and sand, let's talk about something more fun, like the new border control systems that you need to know about. Are you ready for me to hit you with some acronyms? They're called ETIAS, which maybe is ETIAS, and the other one is EES, which is maybe EASE. So the first one to come into effect is the EES, EASE, in 2025, mid-2025. And here's how it's going to work. If you were to fly into Europe or cross into Europe previously, or currently at the time of recording, you get a stamp on your passport. But that's changing with EASE, which is effectively means entry-exit system, EES. I'll stop making the EASE joke, I promise. And so what will happen now is when you cross the border, effectively you'll scan your passport, have to give some biometric data like scan your fingerprint, a photo, and it's a way for European countries to better control people who are coming in and out of Europe and to make sure that you're not overstaying your 90-day limit. Heads up, this only applies when you're entering Europe in a sense for that trip. It doesn't apply when you're traveling between European countries. Then the ETIAS, I guess, system will be coming in 6 months after that. Now, what is this system? Effectively, this means that if you're flying into the Schengen zone, into sort of Europe, from a country like the US US, Australia, New Zealand, a country where you don't need a visa to enter the Schengen area, then you need to do like a pre-approval online before you fly. It costs like €7 and you should get your approval within minutes, apparently. And then that will last for 3 years, and it means you can come and go during that 3-year period into the Schengen area.
But the bureaucratic requirements don't just stop at the airport. Last December, Spain implemented a new data collection policy for travelers staying in hotels, tourist apartments, and campsites. Under this policy, hotels are required to provide about 40 pieces of information or so for each customer, including personal details such as ID numbers, a full name, of course, and payment details. And if there are minors, then details about who the parents are. Spanish authorities have said that this policy is designed to enhance national security, prevent fraud, and combat organized crime. But hotels are not happy. They say that these new rules are going to create an administrative burden in high season, and that pretty much is going to be chaos.
But real talk, I checked into a hotel in Mallorca a couple months ago and had to fill out one of these forms because the hotel had started implementing this practice, and I didn't have to provide 42 pieces of information or whatever the sensationalist newspapers are saying. The fact is, much of that information is actually information the hotel has to provide to the government about itself, like its address, its tax number, all that sort of stuff. So the concern for me isn't a massive collapse and all these papers all these forms you have to fill out, but I do understand that suddenly this information is not just going to the hotel, but it's going to the government. So there are valid privacy concerns, I would say.
Buenas, ¿qué tal? Hola.
But if it's food that you love traveling for, then here are a few gastronomic destinations to add to your bucket list for 2025. First up, the city of Alicante has been named Spanish Gastronomy Capital 2025. As I discovered when I shot a video there last year, the region of Alicante is much loved and often visited, particularly for its beaches, but often the city itself is overlooked. On my trip there, I ate one of the best rice dishes I've had in my life at Casa Domingo, right on the beach by Playa San Juan. And I also visited the central market, the Mercado Central, and had fantastic food at one of the bars there. To celebrate, the city is going to be hosting a slew of events, including the National Tortilla de Patatas Championship, the Spanish Omelette Championship. Yep, we have one of those. There's also going to be a cocktail week and tapas tours. And remember, if you go to Alicante and you order a rice dish, it may look like a paella, it may seem and maybe even taste like a paella, but it is not a paella. Paellas are from Valencia. In Alicante, they call their rice dishes arroces. Don't get that one wrong. Catalonia, on the other hand, has been crowned World Region of Gastronomy 2025. It means there's going to be food festivals, wine fairs, gastro routes, special menus the whole year, and actually a week after this video comes out will be the Calçotada, the Calçots Festival in Valls, which is amazing if you can get your act together and head over there in about 7 days' time. And perhaps if you already have been to Barcelona, you know Barcelona well, this is an excuse to get out of Barcelona and explore the rest of the region of Catalonia, which has multiple wine regions, so much incredible history, so much incredible food, and it's really a region I want to discover more. So maybe you'll beat me to it.
Okay, let's talk fast trains. Remember that Spain has the second largest high-speed train network in the world, only second to China. And a few years ago, Spain liberalized the network, making it possible for new operators to enter the high-speed market. This has reduced prices massively, making train travel more affordable than ever before in Spain. And the growth continues in 2025. The low-cost operator Wigo has just launched new routes connecting Madrid to Seville, Malaga, and Cordova. The tickets start at €9, but you gotta be fast because those fly. Meanwhile, Irio, our personal favorite, has just launched a high-speed route connecting Barcelona and Malaga, running through Madrid. The service runs twice daily, and the journey takes about 5 hours and 15 minutes, which makes it a viable alternative to air travel. And let's not forget Renfe, Spain's national train service, which has just launched the Spain Rail Pass. This is perfect for tourists because it includes between 4 and 10 train trips within a 1 month period, depending on the pass pass you by. So if you're exploring the country, this could be a cost-effective way to get around using fast trains.
And last but certainly not least, we head to Murcia, a region that's tucked away in the southeast of Spain and is still off many people's radars, including mine. Because confession, I've only been to Murcia, the region, once, and that was a few years back to go to the famous Las Minas Flamenco Festival that's held there. But maybe it's time that I go to Murcia, the city, because this year, 2025, the city of Murcia is celebrating its 1200-year birthday. That's a pretty big deal. And rather ingeniously, to celebrate the 1200 years, Murcia has organized an entire year, 12 months of celebrations. Each month celebrates a particular century in the city's history. So the city have said, and it sounds pretty cool, that they want to turn the entire city into a sort of living museum during the year. You know, they're going to have historical reenactments, they're going to have special exhibitions, and just general revelry. It sounds pretty cool, so maybe guys, I'll see you in Murcia, the city, this year.
Guys, this is just the beginning. For more inspiration for your next trip to Spain, why not dive into some of the cities and regions we've mentioned?
I've made this short playlist appearing over here, sorry Yoli, where we explore the country and sometimes just me, sometimes Yoli comes along for the ride. So we'll see you over there in that playlist in a moment. Ciao.